All right, we are back. We brought in Joey Wagner. What's up, Joe? How are you?
I'm good, guys. Ready to see some football finally.
We are contented out. Like, I don't know if that's a word, contented out, but it is. We have nothing else to say about Illinois football and what they could be, right?
No, I hit save today, and I'm going to play NCAA football for the next 16 hours and see you on Thursday.
There we go. All right, Joey, we got to do better in this because Derek kicked our butts in our predictions last year. You went 6-6. I went 7-5. Derek went 10-2.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, this is something we failed to do last year. I thought this was a great segment 2 years ago, and we just didn't think of it last year. We're going to pick an all-Big Ten draft for Illinois. So if we get a first teamer, that's 4 points for whoever drafts him. If you get a second teamer, 3 points, third team, 2 points, honorable mention, 1 point. So I said we're contented out, but here we are talking about which players we think could be Illini All-Big Ten players. But just one more chance to talk about our expectations for these players. So I did a random generator here. Derek Piper, you got the first pick. I got the second pick. You got the snake, Joey. 3 and 4.
Generated these, Derek? Did Derek generate these at home? And Cade picked numbers out of a hat?
Is this a year you want the first pick, though? I
never want the first pick. I know we got somebody complained on our YouTube about talking fantasy. Whenever I get the first pick in fantasy, I always mess it up. So here's to that. Right.
So we are going to give Derek the first pick. We will go snake. We're going to go 6 rounds. That covers about 18 players. I felt like going deeper than that didn't feel necessary. So, all right, here we go. Derek Piper with the first pick in the draft. Who you take?
All right, I'm going to go high floor. I know this guy, and you probably know where I'm going. I got my little cheat sheet here. There's a Lindy's. By the way, I saw both your names in it. Congrats to that, Jeremy Werner, Joey Wagner. Although they cut off the R on Joey on Wagner, so it's Joey Wagner. But anyways, J.C. Davis they have as a preseason All-Big Ten second teamer, and I was looking at some PFF stuff. I saw that third highest offensive tackle graded last year. The 2 in front of him, one being Joe Alt, both got picked in the first round. So do have the transition to the Mountain West of the Big Ten, but I'll go J.C. Davis.
Yeah, you broke my heart there, Derek. That's who I was hoping for. With the second pick. I am going to go a little bold here, Joey, because I probably should go with the outside linebacker who's gotten all Big Ten honorable mention the last couple of years, and Seth Coleman. I think he's going to have a productive year, but that's boring. I'm going to go with the guy I've been setting high expectations for, and there's been a strong buzz in camp. I'm going with another transfer. Wide receiver Zachary Franklin. Illinois is going to throw the ball a lot. Somebody's going to get targeted a lot. Well, I think Pat Bryant's going to have a great year. I think Zachary Franklin's going to get a ton of targets, and Luke Altmaier really likes him. So I'm going Zachary Franklin with a number 2 overall pick. 2 transfers. I think that is very notable here, Joey.
It is. We thought they we thought they did well in the transfer portal this offseason, and that kind of solidifies that. I could make it a 3 for 3 here. I'm a little nervous to do that. I'm gonna go with the safe one and take Seth Coleman here. It's what you saw at the end of last season is so much more reflective of who Seth Coleman is as a football player than those first 6 games where he didn't get enough pressures. I think there was still an adjustment to the defense that everyone was making, Aaron Henry was making. I think you're going to see more second half Seth Coleman. Now it gets interesting because I feel like those were the 3 pretty obvious ones early. I kind of want to – oh, boy, I've got a little list here too. I want to go full law firm yet. Give me Terrence Brooks. Just give me the talent.
Wow.
I know. It's a bold move. I don't know if I should have done that. Your response tells me I shouldn't have. He's got all the talent in the world. Illinois' scheme fits how he plays, fits his strengths. I think it's not like you have a freshman on the other side of him, right? You're going to have to test him. You're going to have to test Xavier Scott. I think he's going to have opportunities to make plays.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go probably a surprise name to some because he might not be the sexiest name on here. But when I do think of all Big Ten, you have to think of stat production, right? And I think this guy is going to rack up a lot of stats in this defense. I think as a second-year starter, he's going to get a lot of tackles. He's going to force some fumbles and make some plays, maybe some interceptions as well. I think this is a guy that could end up being a high ceiling player on the all Big Ten teams because, second team, third team, I think is within his realm of possibility. I'm going linebacker Dylan Rosiak here.
That's a good pick.
Just feel like the stats are going to be there for him. And, sometimes for a team like Illinois that we think is going to be flirting around that bowl bid, a position like that might have a better chance than some others. So, all right, Derek, you got 2 picks in a row here.
I like that pick. I wanted him on the snake back, but that's a good one by you. I'm going to load up on the offensive line. I'm going to go Josh Kreutz.
That was the other guy I was considering, Derek. So well done.
I'll take Josh Kreutz. We're playing Brett Bielema's Smash Mouth football here on my squad. Now
were you scared of Josh Kreutz if you didn't take him this high? You feel like he would just stare you down for not making him a top 2 round pick?
The funny thing, like I've never encountered Josh Kreutz. I've heard stories mostly from Wagner on how just kick ass and intimidating the Kreutz brothers are. So I need to get that done. I need to pop over to availability or something.
Good luck.
But okay, here we go. This is difficult. Number of names circulating through my head. Sure, let's do it. How about a shot? The Big Ten, I don't think is super strong at this position. I can tell you who the first teamer is going to be. I can't tell you who the second or third. How about Luke Altmaier?
I don't hate it, Derek. You're right. The Big Ten at quarterback. It's Dylan Gabriel and then who? So Will Howard. So
Drew Aller got a chance to throw for a football team. Yeah.
If Luke were to throw for like 3,000 yards and 25 touchdowns, which Illinois is going to throw the ball as much as all but 2 or 3 teams in the league, it's not outside the realm of possibility.
We'll see. I don't know. This may be a one that I regret because a couple other guys that obviously play up their potential, then they could pass him. But the position strength is something I definitely considered.
All right, my only concern there is Illinois quarterback. If it's fighting for a bowl bid and you got a team like a Drew Aller, a Michigan quarterback who's really in that playoff, do the voters just go with the quarterback in the playoff team? That was my concern with Luke Altmaier.
That's fair.
Joey, I am throwing all caution to the wind here.
I thought this was going to be your second pick.
I am not going with the high floor guy. There are guys I'm like, yeah, definitely going to get honorable mention. Definitely have a chance at the third team.
Joe Barna.
Good boy. I have been tooting this train all off season. So how can I pass on him now sitting here in the third round? It's a Brett Bielema running back, Caden Fagan. He was great when he was a starter last year. If he just stays healthy and has that production over 10 plus games, he's got a chance. Now, the hard part is running back is loaded in this conference. Ohio State has 2 guys who could be in the first and second team, Jordan James at Oregon, Donovan Edwards at Michigan. We know there's going to be a lot of good running backs, but I think this kid is ridiculously talented. I think he's going to get a ton of touches. And Brett Bielema usually has 1,000-yard running backs, and I think if he stays healthy, he's got a chance to be all Big Ten.
I thought it was your second overall pick. When you said you're getting bold, I thought you were going to do it.
I was scared Derek wouldn't let me have him. So
that should have been my pick, but we're shooting high.
I am going to go with the position that has churned out a lot of numbers in this defense, and I believe in Miles Scott. Safety, I think he's going to have opportunity to get interceptions. I believe Seth Coleman told us yesterday that he is the only one to have twice gotten the Mayhem belt in training camp, which makes all the sense in the world. The free safety spot in this defense gets a ton of interceptions. It's basically a stat counting award that's going to jump off the page to voters.
Love it. He was very high on my list, Joey.
Now I have to probably get bold because I feel like the obvious ones are gone, I think. I have been tooting. I think you don't. That's fine. Jeremy's sitting here knowing that the next pick he's going to get someone he wants. I have said repeatedly, it was a bold prediction. I've stood by it, that Pat Bryant will have 10 receiving touchdowns this year. And if you have that, you are going to find a spot on the All-Big Ten team. I really, truly actually have grown to believe that it is less of a bold take and more of a, this guy's going to be really productive in terms of touchdowns. I don't know if his yardage total will be that high yard number that people look for, but the touchdowns will jump off the page, I feel like. And Pat Bryant's been in this offense. I think he takes a lot of pride in being wide receiver 1, 1A, 1B, however you want to look at it. I think he's going to have a year.
See, I wanted to take him with my third pick. because I agree with everything. Like I think he's going to get targeted a lot. I think he's going to have a ton of yards. I think he's going to get a lot of touchdowns. I just didn't think Caden Fagan would get back to me, and I kind of had to after this entire
He
offseason.
would not have gotten back to you.
No. So I had to take him. I had to own that one. That is probably the value pick of the draft right there.
Not yet.
Okay. I'm going to go with a guy we all think has NFL potential, stagnated last year, but he's one of the most physically impressive people on the team. He's now a team leader. Was at Big Ten Media Days because Brett Bielema thinks he might not be in college football next year. Got to go with Gabe Backus. He's a freak, and now it's time to produce like one. So I think the floor is a little bit lower on this one, but the ceiling is this guy could be in the NFL next year. So, Gabe Backus.
I like that. I'm going to get a sign that just says Joe Barner to hold up at various times throughout the podcast this year. I do like that pick. I think they believe in Gabe Backus. And I thought, like, we've talked about this, so I don't want to sit on this forever. Brett Bielema is very intentional in all of his words and his decisions. So to take Gabe Backus and put out in the open that, like, hey, he might not be back next year, either he's got a rational confidence or he's seeing something we're not seeing. Obviously, we're not seeing much. But, like, that is very intentional on his end to do that.
All right, Derek, 2 picks in a row.
All right. On the note of hype and things that we haven't seen much of, Matthew Bailey.
Love it.
It's kind of a upside pick, but obviously a lot of bullish people out there on Matthew if he stays healthy.
He was in my 4th, 5th round tier here, Derek, so I don't hate the pick.
Okay. Let's see here next. This is tough. How about another guy that I know Jeremy likes? I don't know if he's going to pick him here, but counting stats, honorable mention last year, deflections or passes defended, Xavier Scott.
That's a great pick.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say, like, we're passing on a guy that is one of the most proven defenders.
He was next on my list.
All right.
I hate this. I'll quit tomorrow if you pick who I think. If you take him from me, I'll quit now.
Okay. I got 3 guys I would like to get out of here with, and obviously I can't do that. So I got to take 2 of them. Illinois' kicker U, guys. And they've had an all-Big Ten kicker 4 out of the last 5 years. He was a freshman All-American, or he was an All-American as a prep player. I still think he's going to win the job kicking field goals in PAT.
He did. Brett Bielema announced it today.
Bielema announced that today. So over Ethan Machowski. It's kicker David Alano, unproven, but he is very talented, and I feel very confident in him going into this year. He had a great offseason, and he seems to have, nerves of steel. So specialists get overlooked, but not by me. This is where Illinois thrives as specialists. Sorry, Joey. Not
How
really.
dare you? I knew it. I knew that you had Alano picked somewhere in the 5th and 6th round range.
Sure did.
Son of a gun.
It's like my Bears special teams defense selection in my fantasy draft.
Oh, I am irate. That sucks. I'm going to stay with the specialist because I think he got a lot better, and he got overlooked because he was steady. He wasn't Blake Hayes, but he wasn't 2022 Hugh Robertson. He was a very steady punter last season. He's in his 3rd year. I think he's got this confidence thing figured out. I think he's more comfortable. I really like what Hugh Robertson can do. Maybe he won't have as many opportunities. If you're a fan, you're hoping you don't see a ton of Hugh Robertson, but I think he's going to be efficient. I think he's going to be good.
How is he going to punt when Altmaier's a 2nd team All-Big Ten guy?
You're going to lose some points.
All right, I want to take a minute to tell you about Home Field Apparel because they are the premium collegiate apparel brand, and they're based in nearby Indianapolis. Home Field sent me a few shirts, and what I love about them is, of course, they have incredibly comfortable, well-fitting shirts, but they also have officially licensed apparel with vintage college designs, and they have more than 180 plus available colleges, including, yes, your Illinois Fighting Illini. They have great gear for the upcoming football season, so for the warm weather games, check out their Script Illini t-shirt, the Orange Ringer tee, the vintage Oski Wawa helmet, or for the fall chillier games, check out the Script Illini hoodie, the Flying Illini hoodie, the Flying Illini quarter zip, and if they're still available, you might want to check out homefieldapparel.com for this. Check out their Script Bomber jacket. It is awesome. Also, don't miss their Can't Miss Kickoff 2024 campaign. So Home Field is giving away these special football boxes, and these platinum VIP boxes include 3 never-before-seen items from your school that are not available anywhere else. They're curated so fans have new gear to wear all season long, suitable for all weather conditions. And these platinum boxes also include other exclusive items, including a new hat or ringer, a VIP koozie, and a 2024 Platinum Pass, which guarantees 20% off and early access to your school's football releases through the 2024 season. The football boxes are available on August 9th, so these will sell out quick, so go check them out. Go to homefieldapparel.com to check out their great selection of Illini gear and use code Illini24, that's all capitals, Illini24 for 15% off. That's Illini24 for 15% off at homefieldapparel.com. All right, Joey.
I'm going to wrap this up with probably my boldest pick yet, certainly my boldest pick yet. And it's probably going to net me 0 at the end of this, if we're going to be honest. Kick returner, all Big Ten kick returner, Kenari Wilcher. I will again stand on my takes 2 to the house.
It's a great pick, Joey. It's a great pick. This could be a first team pick.
That's got a very high ceiling, but the floor scares the heck out of me.
Man, I love that pick. That's a great pick. All right, because if he gets 1 touchdown, right, he's in. Just 1 touchdown. And he should have had one last year. That's great. I'm between 2 guys here. I'll throw out a name I was considering because Illinois loves him, but I just don't think it's going to make it. Like T-Rod Edwards, Zach Chrysler, guys who are going to play a lot. I also thought about one of the other running backs, to be honest with you, Derek. So if you want to draft one of those at the last pick, I saw like 1 full practice. Joey knows who I'm going for. And I kept looking at Joey being like, this guy's exciting the hell out of me because he just took a huge leap. He was a starter last season, 2nd starter leap. Offensive line, Brett Bielema. They seem to get honorable mention picks regardless just because they're starters under Brett Bielema. And I think Josh Geske is in line for a huge leap forward. He was absolutely dominant in the practices I saw. I asked Bart Miller, hey, am I wrong that he's ready for a huge leap? And he said 100% he is. So I'm going to go with Josh Geske. I've been trying to toot that train since I saw that practice because I know it was only 1, but really good stuff coming out of him this training camp.
I like that. The last 2 have been very Werner picks. Like those were
has been very Werner picks.
Yeah, fair.
All right, Derek.
I feel like you guys outsmarted me with the specialists.
That was a good specialist run.
It was. Man, do I just go full on dart here?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a league winner, Derek. League winner.
I would never wish obviously injury or potential health issue, what have you. But if Fagan can't go a whole year, or if there was something there, which guy do I pick though?
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
This is like you went. Sorry, go ahead.
Josh McCray.
All right.
That's a tough call. Which running back do you pick behind Fagan?
They're different. And, there's the talk of McCray lighter. And I don't know. Maybe it's that like between the tackle guy, they might give him a higher volume if he is in a situation where he's got to be that. But I like the upside of Lawfrey, the shake and whatnot. So
Josh McCray's going to get opportunity, man.
Brett Bielema loves him. I would have gone with Lawfrey just because I think the ceiling is just higher. And if he can stay healthy, even with Fagan, I think he's a guy who could get 600 plus yards. But if Fagan were out, I do think McCray would get a lot of carries and maybe Jordan Anderson gets in there too. But I just would have gone because we saw what Chase Brown was in this offense. Like, I think Lawfrey is built like him. He's got speed like him. Obviously a little bit more outside the tackles, but he can run inside the tackle. So I would have gone Lawfrey, but they were like 1A, 1B for that pick. If I had the 18th pick, I would have done the exact same thing, Derek. I would have gone to running back.
Yeah. Would Dennis Briggs have been a bad pick? The thing is, like, defensive line is loaded in the Big Ten. That's one thing that I thought of. So
it's why I did not have him on here. And it's really hard for interior defensive linemen to get on there because they group the edges and defensive linemen together. So it's really like, I just don't think the counting stats are going to be there. Even though Derek, if we were just taking the best players draft, he probably would have been a top 4 round pick for Joey and I, right? Like, or at least would have been in that conversation. But yeah, getting the Big Ten honors is a little bit different of a conversation.
Makes sense.
Joey, how do you feel about your draft?
I would have felt better if I could have gotten Alano from you. That's going to sting for a little bit, to be honest with you. I don't know that I'm not very happy about that. I feel good. Brooks was a risk that high. I probably should have just done Rosiak because I agree with everything you said about
you went in on the 2 of the bigger questions from last year, secondary and special teams, Joey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When you put it like that, yes, that's exactly what I had gone ahead and done. Don't know how good I feel about that. Players I thought maybe could have been drafted. You want to do that real quick? Zy Chrysler,
yep.
Tyler Strain. I don't know that I feel. I mean, obviously we don't feel great about picking either of those. So those 2 would have been my next possible ideas.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like, I thought this is why I kind of didn't want to do the next round because you could have gone like Zy Chrysler or Melvin Priestley just because they're starters. Could have gone like a Malik Elzy if somebody gets hurt, but felt like we'd be reaching at that point. Joey, I just got my guys. Like these are who I've been, besides JC Davis, Derek stealing from him. Like I've been talking to Franklin and Fagan and recently Geske. I think kicker at Illinois is really strong. Gabe hasn't been like one of my guys because I still think he's got to prove it, but I felt pretty good about him in the 4th round. Derek, I do like that you loaded up on those 2 offensive linemen. I think those are 2 of the highest 4 guys. And then you went with the real roll of the dice in Altmaier. But if it pays off, man, you look genius.
I will look like a genius, but likely not. It kind of looks like drafting a defense in the 3rd round of the fantasy draft. No offense to Luke Altmaier, but I knew what I was doing early. Maybe it will happen. I still do believe in the strength of the position argument as a big reason why he could get on there. But passing on Fagan for Altmaier could just be something that gets shredded if anyone remembers this.
Notably, Joey, we do not have a defensive lineman or tight end selected. I think that is telling.
Pretty telling. Would you have taken Cole Rusk in this conversation if he was healthy?
Probably not because the position is really good.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Michigan, Iowa.
And I just don't know. I would have thought like next year is Cole Rusk's big year anyway. And now he's out for the season, but it certainly impacts them. All right, guys. This was fun. Any other takeaways?
Can we stand up, as you mentioned, can we just split the edges and the defensive linemen in actual Big Ten voting, please?
Yeah. It stinks. Yeah. It's really hard to do because you're Johnny Newton, you're going to get noticed. But I try to do, like when I vote for it, I try to do 2 edges, 2 interior guys, 2 edges. But it's really hard for a lot of people that just don't watch a lot of football, obviously. I mean, I don't get to see a ton of other Big Ten games, but I try to do it that way. But they're certainly 2 different positions. All right, any final thoughts, anybody? Got anything else?
Let's play some football.
You roasted me for going with some questionable spots with secondary specialists. Are we just going to let Derek off the hook for taking 2 linemen and 2 guys to the secondary? I think the line's going to be better, but let's not act like it was perfect last season.
I'm not acting like that. I think
you're fine.
Jeremy, as nicely as he could, roasted me for the Altmaier pick, which I think I fully deserve in hindsight.
I think he took 2 pretty proven offensive linemen with high floors, and Xavier Scott with a pretty high floor, and Matthew Bailey. I think just stay healthy, man. All right, we'll wrap up with this. I had my season prediction out there. I have Illinois going 6-6, which is not a very bold pick. I was bold last year and it bit me in the butt. I went 8-4. Joey, what do you got? What do you got for Illinois' record?
6-6. Here's the thing. Like, to me, you're basically choosing between 5-7, 6-6, or 7-5, right? Like that's the most likely windows. I think a better question, Jeremy, would be rank the order of those in terms of likelihood. You can throw, if you want to put 4-8 and 8-4 in there too. Like, how would you list those 5 orders of their season?
Ask me after Kansas. I'll be able to answer that. Probably.
That's cheating. Ask me how many wins after Kansas. I'll probably have a better answer.
Yeah, 6-6, 5-7, 7-5. Probably be mine. Derek, what do you got?
my gut's been saying 5-7, but we did this on the radio yesterday, game by game prediction. I landed at 6-6. So I don't know if it's the week one buzz and a little bit added optimism. I know 6-6 isn't blowing anybody away, but I went 6-6. I think it's very doable. But I do agree, 5-7, in my opinion, decently more likely than 7-5, in my opinion. But
if you can find a way to get to October with 3 wins, I would just feel very good about this team, because then you have 5 toss-up games, 2 very likely losses, right? But against Michigan at home, see if you got any chance. Like, no one's gonna. You really have no pressure going into that game. But if you can beat 3 of Purdue, Minnesota, Michigan State, Rutgers, Northwestern, that shouldn't be that hard. Like, I feel like Illinois' floor is higher than a lot of those programs going into the season, but are they healthy by November? That is going to be one of the biggest things. And do they have 4 wins by November? That's why this early portion of the schedule with Kansas, Nebraska, and taking care of business against Central Michigan is so important.
That November stretch is bowl game, right? Like that's going to determine a bowl game.